Hi there folks, and Happy New Year. It's the 3rd of December today, and I'm coming to you from our microforest, the small forest below our garden. I just did a few simple tasks here, which I'll talk about in a second. But first of all, I wanted to congratulate you all and wish you a happy and prosperous and bountiful year. And a special thank you for all the people who supported me on my channel during my vlogmas challenge. So I wanted to talk about that vlogmas challenge for a bit. The idea was to have an initiative and make daily videos for the whole of December, starting on the 1st of December and finishing at my birthday. And I managed that, even though it was more challenging than I initially anticipated. But even so, this challenge showed me the weak points in my process. So I'm hoping to improve my quality and make more consistently interesting videos in the coming year. One of the things which was most difficult for me was voice over the time-lapse videos, which I love to make. The time-lapses themselves are very easy and very fun to make and very fun to watch, especially the kids love the quickened pace of the video. But the problem is that in order to voice over, you have to have a separate script written, and then you have to have a quiet room or quiet space where you can do the voiceover, and this usually is not possible here during the day, so I have to work during the night. And then usually we have guests in December, so it was a challenge, but that was the idea, a vlogmas challenge. I realized that unlike most of the vloggers around the world, I didn't post Christmas related stuff, but it was important for me personally to try and post a daily video. Now, before I continue, a quick recap of the events here last week in our homestead. So on Christmas Eve, we had to prepare some traditional food and gather our immediate family, which was the 5 of us and also my mother and my brother. So we served our full dinner and stay up very late. And on the Christmas day, the kids had to open presents. It was a hectic day all in all, but also with all that chaos, we also had to prepare and serve dinner for a more extended family, because my parents-in-law came to visit along with a couple more family members, and that basically took half of the day up to very late in the evening, because when they came to visit, they brought more presents for the whole family. So yeah, it took quite after midnight to sort and tidy everything up and do all the dishes. And on the next day, which was about to be a day of rest, the 26th of December, we decided to pour the concrete, which I showed you in a couple of videos before. So I had to carry about 800 to 900 kilograms of materials around, and then mix the concrete and pour the concrete. So there was no rest, of course. And on the 27th, I had to remove the frames of the concrete, and then some more family came to visit, extended family, cousins coming from Germany. So we had guests on that day as well. On the next day, there was another celebration for someone from the village, and on the 29th we had to prepare for my birthday. So we had to do some shopping, some pre-New Year's Eve shopping, some shopping for my big son's birthday. So we went to the city for a quick shopping run, which ended up taking the whole day, because apparently everyone from the capital had the same idea, so everything was chock full of people, and it was very frustrating and difficult day. On the next day, it was my birthday, the 30th of December, and on the 31st, during the day, we had some guests coming to our place. So we gathered in our place before we went to some other neighbors to celebrate. So over the 31st of December, we were basically cleaning from and sorting things up from my birthday, and then cooking again for the people which were in the house and the family. And then we had to prepare some food in order to bring to the New Year celebration, which of course we did. And on the 1st of December, most of us slept till noontime because we went to bed in the early hours of the day. And as we were kind of getting our heads together, it was immediately time to start preparing for my big son's birthday, who turned 10 yesterday on the 2nd. So there was cake to prepare. He had some games which he wanted help setting up with for his guests, and the day just flew by. On the 2nd of January, it was his birthday, so guests started arriving from early on, kids from around the village, and then other guests and parents with more kids, and we stayed up reasonably late, considering that today is a school day and a working day. So even though everyone was in a hurry to go home and prepare, we still basically took the whole day from 10 a.m. to like 7 p.m. celebrating. And today the kids went to school. Big props to my wife that she managed to muster the strength to get up with them and send them to school. I was completely shattered, and I didn't manage to wake up until 10:30 a.m. So that brings us to today, and I wanted to just spend some time outdoors and do some work here in the microforest. And you can see that with those almost 10 days of celebrations, our program is pretty full, and this was additional difficulty towards shooting the regular movies, but I did my best. So with this year that is just starting, I'll be trying 2 general trends. First of all, I won't be trying so much to make educational videos. One of our yard cats is coming to see me. I think that he suspects I have some food for him. He has a very thick winter coat now, very fluffy. So one of the things I'll be trying to do in this year is focus not so much on the educational value, but more on the daily happenings in our homestead. Because originally when I started this channel, my intention was that every video I make is a sort of tutorial or how to video tips and tricks, or something that educates and helps people with their gardens and their homesteading and permaculture efforts. But with almost 100 videos published this year, it became apparent that most of the times, even when I'm not trying deliberately to show something educational, people still find value in what I post. So even the daily happenings here can be helpful to people, and I've got comments on the videos and also messages on our Discord server, and all of them were encouraging to continue just sharing what's going on here day to day, and not worry so much about the structure and the format of the video. So this is one of the things which I'll be trying to do. And another thing which I'll be making a more conscious effort toward is trying to shoot the whole thing as a single shot, or at least have the least amount possible of voiceover needed. So that's about it from me for today. I just wanted to bring you up to speed to what's going on here at our homestead, and at the end of this video I'll just quickly explain what I'm doing today in the winter here in the microforest. My goal in those cooler months where everything is bare, no leaves and no grasses on the ground, is to mark trees for cutting. We have lots of trees here which are elms, and the elms all infected with the Dutch elm disease, which is a fungal pathogen. Of course, it's not really Dutch, it's from Asia, but it was discovered there, so that's the name of the pathogen. And the elms, they don't manage to grow to an old age or to a large size, and usually rarely they get thicker than this one. The most resilient individuals, they grow to about 10 to 15 centimeters of diameter of the trunk, and then they slowly start dying, usually with the browning of leaves from the top branches, and then gradually lower. So those trees are usually just standing dead in the forest, so I try to remove them in winter when it's easier to work with no other vegetation around, and those add to our firewood stockpile, so every little bit helps. And an important detail is that the Dutch elm disease, it really doesn't kill the trees wholly as an organism. It leaves the root of the plant alive. So after the vegetative parts, the trunk and the whole above ground tree dies, you still are left with a living root. So the next year after the tree dies, it usually resprouts from the same spot if you cut the trunk, or it does shoot side shoots like root suckers, which start growing, and if you cultivate those, you get a stand of elm trees, which in essence work as a coppice stand, but it's a self-terminating coppice stand, because you get trees that die on their own, and when you cut them you get new growth from the same root. So I think that that's making the best of the Dutch elm disease in essence, because we're getting a regenerative fuel source, the wood of the trees which are dying naturally from this fungal pathogen, and at the same time, by cultivating the places where they grow, it's not this impossible thicket of elms which otherwise would grow like a bush, but a tall upright stand of elm trees which can be harvested when they die naturally. So this is a good example of what I'm talking about. You can see here the stump, I deliberately leave them taller so nobody gets tripped over them. This is the stump of a dead elm, and all those little twigs here are the side shoots which sprouted in this season. And here there is a smaller stump. This one is just 5 or maybe 6 centimeters across, which died earlier, and this is a 2 or 3 year old sapling which grew out of it. And next to it is another one, and those two actually are from the same plant, which was larger, and it was harvested 5 years ago, or maybe 6 years ago. There's a stump which rotted here, and those were 2 side shoots which I left, not knowing how large they will grow. So this one here It's still growing strong. It's over 4 meters tall, and I suspect it has a few more years in it. But here you can see that this one, although it has some side shoots appearing from the stem, and here, and also down here from the root, it's already struggling because upwards it's completely dry. You can see that it has no crown. It snapped in a windstorm and fell somewhere down here. So this is a good example of what I might coppice. I just cut it. In the coming years I'll be cultivating those small shoots here to become new tall upright elm trees. So that was all for today, and I'll see you next time.